Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I will call the meeting to order of the Select Board on December 2nd, 2025 at 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Cal present remotely.
Valerie Goodrich present.
And Laura Schifrin present remotely. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
I would like to thank all of our veterans and as well as all of our military that are serving here and abroad, as well as all of our emergency response people, public safety, and all of our employees and staff members, all of our elected and appointed officials for helping our community be a better place to live in. The meeting is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Is anyone else recording?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Cindy. Chairman's additions or deletions. 11/19/25 minutes were previously approved on the 25th, so they are deleted from this meeting. And I don't think I have anything else. So 1.5, review approve meeting minutes for November 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the meeting minutes of 11/25/2025.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any discussion?
I don't have any changes other than there's punctuation missing, periods here and there. So I would just want that to be looked at. That's all.
I think that's part of the AI. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just trying to keep track too. There are a few kind of funny isms that it's starting to develop a little bit. Like it calls me Clerk Goodrich a lot.
Yes. Yes, you are called Clerk Goodrich. I saw that, but I figured, okay, fine.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. You guys can have first names. I don't need one.
I think those corrections will be made. Okay,
Yeah.
so we can approve subject to the minor edits, if you will, before they are given to the town clerk. Okay. All right, roll call vote, please.
Veronica Cal, I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. We will move down to 2.2. The presentation of the public record recording platform with town clerk Harrison. Harrison is not able to make it, but he sent a report to the board, which I was not able to print off. Have you been able to see it? And I would also like to clarify for the record that where it says review, discuss public record recording platform, it is the platform. It's recording of records. It is not an audio recording. I was asked that, and I am going to explain that it's not audio. So nothing in the portal is recorded by audio. Okay, have I made that clear enough? Do you think?
Hopefully.
Okay. Me too. I hope that is clear.
It should be a public records request platform, public records recording platform. I don't know if there's any name specific for this, but what my concern, and I did see Harrison's statement about this, and that's all well and good. But what he will not always necessarily, or the town clerk will not always necessarily be the records access officer. The select board appoints the records access officer, which my understanding is that is the person who responds to public records requests. So, where it may not always be, Harrison is the town clerk, and where Harrison may not always be the town clerk. My concern has more to do with having a design and a user specification for what is being put in place. If in fact it is being adopted by the town clerk's office, will another RAO have access to it? Will they understand how it works? So I had written something which did not make it I sent it many weeks ago, um, to be put in, and I did send it. I went back to look. So just give me a second to get to my statement here. This is what I was looking for. I'm not looking for someone pontificating on what the laws are and what control the select board may or may not have of public records. That is not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is knowing how the platform works. So I'm going to read you what I'm looking for. I'm going to take this off. I am looking for something that says Town of Townsend Public Records Request Portal. And it includes a specification for the reason, need, justification for this means of recording. Why does the town need this when there is a system available on the website for keeping track of public records requests? And in many ways is much more accessible than the records things that we've been sent. Number two, details of how the portal is used by the records access officer, who may not always be the town clerk, by municipal employees and board members, and by the public, if at all. I want specifications for the portal. Where does the code, and you can call it, it doesn't have to be called a portal. It can be a recording platform. It can be a database, but specifications for the portal. Where does the code reside in the town's file system? What platform or language is used? Who maintains the code and how is it maintained? A statement noting that the code is intellectual property of the town of Townsend and cannot be marketed to other municipalities. And I want to know who has access to the code. And any other information that's to be included in both a developer and a user document that describes the portal. How will it be used? How frequently will people be provided with this information? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a design and a user specification for what is going on. I'm not necessarily, and this has more to do with, yeah, the town clerk is the keeper of public records. Granted, no issue there. I have no issue there. The public records requests and the fulfilling of those requests is a different issue. It's covered by policy under the select board. And if in fact the town clerk does not feel that the requirement to follow that policy is needed by the town clerk, then perhaps we as a select board should reconsider the assignment of records access officer, the person who responds to public records requests. And that's all I'll have to say.
Okay.
I really want a design spec. And if he's doing it for his own benefit, I don't need that. But if he's doing this to be used by the general public, by the town as a whole, the departments, et cetera, then different story. We need a user spec. We need a design spec. That's all I have to say. So,
Okay, thank you, Veronica. Val, any comments?
So based on what I've currently seen and I've had some discussions with Harrison, I can see how the current workflow of the town clerks is improved by this application and made more efficient with automatic replies and a lot of steps that are probably really helpful for anybody who's answering a public record request. And I can, I've expressed some concerns about what gets published and what doesn't get published. And had some conversations with town council. And I know Harrison has also had some conversations with council. We both have been involved with that, just to, kind of make sure from my perspective that the town is in a good position with everything that gets put out on the internet. That's my concern, basically. And obviously a public record is a public record. I'm not suggesting that those aren't put out. It's more, we've looked at some of the content and how the requests are handled by the state, for example, or by the supervisor of records. When is a name removed and, the mayor put instead, or a select board member, or, a name might be removed and, not that Jay is subject, but police chief put instead, just to depersonalize some of the requested information sometimes, not from the record itself, but from the request, from what's put up there. So, I mean, I feel better having had those conversations about the place the portal's in right now than I did a couple months ago. So, I have expressed some hesitation about having something being used that could, be unusable in a different, if someone else was in the town clerk office. The town clerk has expressed that it's, the software being used and the voting platform is pretty basic Microsoft. Guardian should be able to, work with whatever's there pretty easily.
What are you basing that on?
Just basically how it was developed.
Do you know how it was developed? Because I don't.
Without going into all the exact details, because I'm, it's that fine line between I don't want to day-to-day administrate how that is done if this is a tool that gets used, but I appreciate the concern of if this suddenly wasn't there. So half of me is like, I totally understand. It was developed in attempts to make like those automatic replies easier and so that the town clerk can get back to doing, other stuff in town clerk's office. If anything, I actually think it's a tool that, I've looked at some towns that have, multiple RAOs. And I could see this as a tool that even potentially, if more help is needed in the future, more people could be trained on and used potentially. That's just something that at this moment in time where it's just used in that office, I don't have a lot of concerns for the tool being used by the town clerk. I understand Veronica's, worries though. I do understand that. But, so yeah, that's just my basic thoughts at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
And I do think the town clerk has been receptive to some of my concerns about, does the language of the request get marked private sometimes if there's salacious material in there that we don't control. We're just publishing it. It's not that we don't allow people to access it, but we're publishing it on our website. So we have gone back and forth on that. And I think the town clerk has some pretty good solutions to some of those potential problems, but that's just my take at the moment.
What are the solutions? I mean, I don't know what they are, and this was more like, oh, you guys, I get to do whatever I want to do, and too bad for you, is how I read the document that came out. And that's not what I was interested in at all. I'm interested in knowing that someone else can pick it up and use it. That is it on our website? As far as I know, it is not. But is it on our website? And then who authorized it to be on our website, if in fact it is? How is it decided what gets changed as far as names go and what doesn't get changed? Who decides what is public and what isn't public? And, um, you know, that's what I was looking for. And that was what I was hoping to have a discussion with. I have not gone in to talk to Harrison about it because I don't want to be accused of managing the day to day. And so I feel that this is our forum for talking about it. And there was a choice made not to discuss, which I'm disappointed in.
Okay, I appreciate both of your comments as well as they're basically expressing some of my own concerns. I only had one other small question, and that was how long do they stay there in the portal? Like, do they ever come off? And I am concerned about people's privacy. Even though it's supposed to be public records, it doesn't mean that some disparaging remarks can't be made because they are in some of them. So,
I think that's where we could, I'm sorry, Larry, go ahead.
well, what I was going to say was, having said that, we did, I guess, originally think that we were going to have a conversation with Harrison, and for some reason he couldn't make it, so he sent his report. And I think that we should have a conversation. I think that the questions have been expressed now, and I'm sure that Harrison will see the video afterwards when he can. And I suggest that we move this to another meeting. And perhaps right now, the 9th looks pretty lengthy. So if it's okay with the board, I would suggest the first meeting in January for us to have a discussion. Or the first meeting that he can make it to attend.
I'm good with that, provided the platform is not public in the meantime.
I don't think it's supposed to be. I think that was one of the things that he said. And I haven't gone looking, since he sent his reports to.
I don't think it is, but I haven't really looked. All I get is what Sabrina sends out,
Okay, right. It's the
and
report.
then I look at the records for us to see if there's any that I can help with because we are not receiving public records for the select board. Public records requests that come in for the select board have not been coming to us necessarily. I mean, most of those I haven't seen. I've seen the ones that have been sent directly to me, but right now it looks like nobody's sending things directly to people anymore. That they're going to select board slash TA. And then unless we get that report and look at it, it's almost impossible to make the 10 days if you aren't
Right,
sent the request.
right.
So anyway.
Is it more so because it's being sent to the employee? So in this case, it would be Sabrina and Nelson that were getting our public records requests. And we would have to rely on them reaching out to us if they needed our help for any of them.
Nelson, do you have a comment on that?
My understanding was, ones that were specific to a specific, select board member, they would get that, request, and then that select board member would then look at their records for, looking through their records. So unless there's a real, life example at the moment, that was my understanding, and everything else is just handled between Sabrina and I, and we kind of do our own fact finding, to fulfill the request. So that's my general understanding. If someone was requesting records from a certain select board member, the RAO would then send that request directly to the select board member in question. So I thought that's
My
how I
example
understand.
is the one that came in for SharePoint data from October 21st, the October 21st meeting. And that request came only to me, and it was from one of the names that are, disguised. And uh, and so I responded that I'm not the keeper of the SharePoint files, which I'm not, and therefore there were no responsive records. And so, but then, I said that Nelson and Sabrina were those, but for whatever reason, it came directly to me. And I just saw that maybe a couple days ago, and that request was at least a month ago, that it was sent to you, Nelson, and Sabrina. That was a delayed response on that. So, anyway,
Well, Sabrina and I are wading our way through them. There's still quite a few, so we're sort of doing the best we can. As well as juggling our regular day-to-day stuff. So I admit we are behind, but we're doing everything we can to sort of get caught up.
that's a request, though, Nelson, that you would not have seen because it didn't go to you or Sabrina. It came only to me.
No, but yeah, for that particular example, yes, I agree that it would have just gone to you. But I'm just talking in general about the backlog of public records requests that are either select board / TA, you know, in that bucket.
Then the takeaway from this conversation is I won't worry about public records requests. This particular conversation, which is not about the portal, it's about the requests in general, that I'm not going to worry about them. If someone needs something from me, they can let me know. Other than that, I'm not going to worry
Right.
about
I mean,
public records.
yeah, if the REO sends the request directly to a select board member, that select board member should, you know, look through their records for whatever that request might be. That much is definitely expected of the select board members. Yeah, everything else, Sabrina and I will sort of triage it, and if it requires records from one or more select board members, we will deal with it at that time.
Okay, so we're going to have the conversation on this database thing. We will move to January, correct?
I think the first meeting we're supposed to have in January is on the 6th. Is that correct, Nelson?
I'm showing it as a 6, correct?
Okay. So Nelson, would you present that to Harrison then to try to meet with us for a discussion on the 6th? And in the meantime, we are still counting that this is not a public site, but it's just for him to use for making his job easier.
Yep, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay. Are we good with that? Select board?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, 2.2, okay, we'll have to skip that and come back for the 5 o'clock. 3.1, is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Jessica DeMeo as administrative assistant to the chief of police with effective start date 8/12/08/2025, contingent upon successful completion of all employment requirements.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. And good luck to Jessica. Thank you for that appointment. 3.2, is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Lance McNally as planning board representative to the Community Preservation Committee from December 2nd, 2025 until June 30th, 2027.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Any discussion? Hi, Lance.
Hi there.
Thank you for volunteering for this position. You have great background. I know that this will be good for the town. So any other questions or discussion with Lance? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thanks again, Lance. Okay, 4.1, review, discuss municipal energy aggregation 3-year proposal. Nelson, do you want to speak to this?
Yep, for the folks who are not aware, all of our electricity accounts that the town uses, we are under a energy aggregation contract. That was actually the first aggregation contract that we signed prior to the residential one that's, also in place. So those are two separate things, but the one in question is for municipal buildings. That contract, which was a 3-year contract that we signed, is about to expire, and in your packet, you will see a pricing proposal that Good Energy, which is the company that we work with, they went out to the market and was able to get us some pretty good rates.
Nelson, could you share that document so that the audience can see it as well? I don't have it.
Sure, 1 second. So let me zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, they gave us a proposal for 12 months, 24, 36, and 48 months. Given we cannot sign a 4-year long contract without town meeting approval, I think our best bet is the 3-year contract. And according to their calculations, we will save approximately $56,000 in energy costs throughout the life of this 3-year contract.
Questions from the board?
I don't have any.
I don't either.
Okay, so I think, let me see, you guys can probably make a motion to allow me to sign on behalf of the town for the 3-year proposal that Good Energy has provided to us.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to allow the town administrator to sign on the select board's behalf for a 3-year energy aggregation proposal as discussed by Good Energy.
I thought we should name a specific company, the Next ERA Energy, correct? In other words, we can choose from Constellation Energy, Direct Energy, Next ERA Energy, and it looks to me like Next ERA Energy's rates are the best. And so in the proposal, we should include what company we are going with, I believe.
Okay.
I think Veronica's correct.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to allow the town administrator to sign a municipal energy aggregation contract for 3 years through Good Energy, with the selection of Next Era Energy having the lowest rate for those 3 years.
Is there a second?
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay, any further?
Wow.
I think Sydney has her hand up virtually.
Sorry. Go ahead, Cindy. You have a question?
Yes, I have, hold on, I gotta mute one of my microphones here. Okay, yeah, I'm just where you held off going with the 4-year contract. I'm wondering if we're at risk in that 4th year for a price increase 4 years from now that would be higher than what's listed on this, should you have agreed to a 4-year contract. And is that still going to be the same rate, or are we at risk of, and I mean, energy goes up all the time. Could that number be higher 4 years from now? Would it be safer financially in the long run for us to go ahead and go to town meeting and do this for a 4-year contract? Would it be, do you think we're at risk of a price increase? Because I think you guys are planning on a January special that, and I don't think the town people would say no to this. This is too, they might have questions, but I think that this is pretty straightforward. I think people have noticed a decrease in their electric bills.
Okay, Cindy,
Um,
thank you for your question, but I'm thinking Veronica we can't go past December 31st. Is that not correct?
December 25th, it says.
Yeah, 25th. As far
so
as
that's twenty
our,
twenty-five. So, yeah, I think the
Oh,
timing,
2025, sorry.
so I think the timing wise, we wouldn't be able to put forth, the 4-year proposal to the town voters, before this contract actually expires. So I think it's a timing issue. Yes, Cindy, I do think there is a risk, 3 years from now, the rates would be, higher than what's being proposed now. But, uh, what's the word? One of our hands is tied behind our backs in terms of what we're able to sign. So I think, the 3-year contract is really the best we can do, given the timing of things, and we don't have a town meeting until late January at the earliest, when we haven't even discussed the date yet. So I just think timing wise, we're not able to um, consider the 4-year proposal right now.
okay, Nelson, Veronica, and then I have a comment too.
Okay, I agree with Nelson, everything that he just said. However, I want to point out that I believe that the 3-year rate that we signed on to 3 years ago, and I was on the select board when we did municipal aggregation for the town buildings 3 years ago and put this contract in place. I believe that rate, and Nelson, you might have that, is higher than the rate that we're having now. So although, yeah, there's a chance that it will be higher in that, 4 years from now, there's also a chance that it will be lower. Do you have that rate, Nelson? I thought it was like 16.
Let me see if
I'm pretty sure this is lower than what we signed 3 years ago.
I'm reading it correctly. I think it was around, it looks like it was about 11.7 cents. So, slightly
Where are you
higher.
seeing that?
That
Could you?
it's in SharePoint. It's the current contract that we have with the energy company. It's in SharePoint.
Okay, let me go back and see if I can, the current electric.
So I'll ask, while you're looking, I'll ask my question. Nelson, is it possible, and maybe the past select people may know this, to go to town meeting, and especially where we're so tight for money, and the next couple of years are not going to be much better, and costs do go up. Is there a way that a motion can be made via a warrant that gives the town the ability, the select board, to go and negotiate another contract during the 3-year term to extend? No.
I don't
All
think
right. Well, I was just trying to think. Um, that maybe there might be a way to head this off, but did you find the last contract, Veronica?
I see what's in SharePoint.
So
That
what,
says
last,
11,746.
But is that the rate? Look at those dates. Anyway, uh, this is good. This is a good rate.
okay,
So, and I think that we'll get better than market. If we were going to go to town meeting, we would have had to have addressed this a couple months ago.
right, right. Maybe that should be a heads up for the next time, that you don't wait until the last month to address an end of contract. Um, so we had a motion. Did we have a second? I know we just had discussion.
I thought I
Probably a
seconded.
second. Yep.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. 4.2, let's see where we are for timing. Okay. The budget memo to department heads. I did not see that one.
I did put it on SharePoint. It was, yesterday, late morning.
Yesterday,
Yep. Yep.
did you see it, Veronica and Val?
I have.
Thoughts?
Well, I have a question. On the last bullet, Nelson, why does it say trash hauling disposal? Why is that there for the department heads?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a holdover from last year. We do have, expenses, on the municipal side, but I don't think it needs its own, bullet point. So a good catch there. So I will delete that bullet. I don't think it's necessary.
Then I had another question, and I'm looking for somewhere it was stated that it was a 3% thing, but anyway, 2% COLA and a step increase of 2%. I know that we need to talk to the unions, but I don't know how the town is going to support that. I see this in here, but I have a concern about it.
And that was one of the bullets that I was kind of struggling with because, I did preface by saying that, several union contracts were expiring at the end of the fiscal year. So it's, we have no idea what we're all gonna agree to at the bargaining table, but for the purposes of budgeting, at least, initially, that's kind of where I was coming from. Because I think if we said in a budget memo, please, budget a 0% COLA and a 0% step, I don't think that's necessarily the right thing or the right approach. Maybe we can, ask for maybe at least two scenarios, maybe even three. One scenario, might be the baseline scenario is 2% COLA, 2% step, and an alternate one might be, a smaller COLA and a smaller step. And a third version might be no step, no COLA. And we would preface by saying that that's not necessarily what the select board is proposing or even agreeing to, but for the purposes of budgeting, those are the scenarios we're considering, to see how that plays out when we put that into the overall budget, what those steps and COLAs would result in, for either a balanced budget or a budget that results in a deficit.
Okay. I have a second question. The budget worksheets that are in SharePoint, did the Finance Committee agree to these? And will all the department heads be itemizing their expenses? Meaning listing out if there's a software package that they use that they pay for regularly, will that be listed out? How are expenses being itemized? Because last year that was one of the things that made budgeting difficult in the department meetings. Not the department head meetings, but the meetings that we had with the joint with the finance committee and the department heads. The question was always, well, you have this number there, but what are you buying with it?
Right. So I'll answer your two-part question. Part one, I did meet with the FinCom and after the meeting, they didn't have any changes that they proposed to be made, but
Okay.
which kind of leads into your second question, which was, they also felt like last year and in the past, the descriptions for the expenses was kind of vague at times. So, so I think we're kind of all in agreement that this go around, departments are expected to sort of list out their expenses, and maybe I'll add that as a bullet as well.
Yeah,
now that we're talking about it.
I would recommend even like giving an example of just, I think the FinCom themselves gave an example of something, of a department that listed out a lot of details on the.
Yeah. Yep.
And say the expectation is that this has to happen so that we can have discussions around those items.
Correct. And I'm actually going to push back pretty hard if I receive a budget package and it doesn't have that information, I'm going to say you need to go back and provide more detail on these line items, because I want to head it off so that when it gets to the select board and finance committee, it's kind of in the best shape possible. And I think last year, some departments were a little bit rough around the edges.
Will you be going over this with department heads at a meeting, a department head meeting? I know there was supposed to be one today, but I know that went by the wayside.
Yeah. That was my intention to sort of the budget memo and the budget worksheets sort of be the focal point of upcoming department head meeting. So once I figure out when I'm going to reschedule it, that would be the big agenda item to discuss with department heads. And I'll make it pretty clear as well in the memo as well, and as well as the email, that this is the expectation moving forward. And I will be sending their budget packages back to them if it's incomplete in any way.
I want to talk about capital items, but I don't know if anybody else has questions on
I
their
do.
stuff.
Yeah. You can go first, Lori, go ahead.
Thank you. Being naive as a selectman and to unions in particular, since I'm getting a lesson every day, do they negotiate every year, like the
Usually 3 years,
clerical
I think.
and the three that you had this year?
Every 3 years. Every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
That's the norm. Once in a while, you'll see like 1 year contracts, but those usually are just like a stopgap measure. 3 years is the standard for.
So does the current contract that was just negotiated, was that a 2+2 every year? Is that a given for that?
I mean,
The current one that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was just done.
Or what
You
it's
said
the
it's 3
current one.
years.
We're in the third year of a 3-year contract with the unions, I believe.
most
All
of
of
them.
them?
No,
No,
not
most of them.
clerical, supervisors, highway, water.
So this was the last year,
This will be the last year, correct?
ending in
So-
this fiscal year.
FY26 and FY26.
So
Yep.
end of 26, we negotiate again?
We need to negotiate starting for fiscal year 27. So for the fiscal year that this is the budget for.
Okay.
What's the timeline on that, Nelson?
In theory, we could start the kickoff conversations, in January.
Mhm. Okay.
That way it gives everybody ample time if there's any delays or if there's areas where it needs additional negotiating. Because if you're starting in March, you might be already behind, the 8 ball. So starting in January is recommended.
I mean, I don't think that 2 and 2 is a horrible place to start, just so we can know the picture of what it's gonna look like
Yeah, and like I said,
with that.
I can also ask for other scenarios as well, but I think that's a good starting point. I would call it the baseline, and I know, given our current financial situation, which I shared with the select board and finance committee a few weeks ago, it does not necessarily look good. But I don't want to belabor the point in terms of talking about it now. This is really just about the budget memo and how we want to sort of give some instructions to
I think
department
that
heads.
some of the, it's gonna be hard to even level funding a lot of the items on there, so
I
I
know.
think it's gonna be a struggle.
It's not, it's been stated all along, it's not sustainable. And where are the increased funds to take care of what you're gonna budget? But
I think that we have to do the 2 and 2, thinking about it further after this conversation, because if the negotiations aren't done, I believe the way it's written in the contract is you have an
Just
extension.
extend,
Whatever it is what extends. So I think Nelson's right. It has to be written this way, because this is where we are. And if in fact the funding doesn't, the 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 monies that we have as a town don't fit, we have to look at positions and reorganization, which is further on in the agenda for tonight.
okay. So I don't, do you feel we need a motion to approve this memo, or are you all set?
Absolutely need a motion, I think. Can I ask my capital question though first?
Yes, ma'am.
On this, Nelson, there is a 5-year capital plan that the capital plan from last year put in place. Are they going to, are you going to include that for departments? Because it looked the one that I saw online looked empty. And I appreciate the emptiness, but I think you should also provide the 5-year capital plan that was approved by the capital planning committee at the end of last year, so that people can see, they probably know what they've already requested, but I think it's good for people to see.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yep, I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the budget memo to the department heads as presented at the December 2nd meeting.
With the elimination of the last bullet on trash hauling.
With elimination of last bullet on trash hauling and explanation of details needed in descriptions
Well, thank you.
with edits.
And are those edits good for your second?
Veronica Cal, second, yes.
Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. 4.3, review, discuss creation of public relations policy.
I didn't see anything in the SharePoint, so I take it we're going from scratch on this. Is that right?
I didn't find anything
I didn't
out
see
there.
anything. Nelson, do you
When I-
have anything?
I do not.
When I did a brief search of other select town websites and I didn't see any similar select board policies.
This is for the use of CSS or whomever for an outgoing statement. Is that correct?
Correct.
I think Nelson, maybe reach out to CSS and see if they have suggestions for this. I mean, I would say that if the select board, if the TA through polling of the select board members finds it necessary to contact CSS, that the policy should be reviewed and, you know, you know, and put out after review by the Board of Selectmen.
I guess the question is does the select board need to take a vote on any statement being released?
I think we should. And
Yeah.
so I think an emergency meeting should be called.
If
That
it's,
could be
that
part of the
fits.
policy.
Open
would-
meeting law. Yeah, that would be part
That
of
would be part of the policy.
And
I
I
think
don't
that-
know when emergency meetings can be called by, select boards. So that would be to
From what
look at, oh no.
from what I understand it, I asked this of council at one point, it's pretty restrictive. It seems to be in like actual, like risk, emergencies.
State of emergency kind of thing.
Yeah, that type of, safety, building falling down.
Bridge collapse.
Well,
I-
Why don't-
If I may,
why don't we
if
look
I
into
may-
that?
If I may interject, if a situation arises where we feel like, CSS needs to, draft up a statement on the town's behalf, I, receive feedback from, select board members, and then I go off, talk to CSS, and then, they provide to me a draft statement, which I then can, you know, send off to select board members. They can provide their feedback to me individually. And then, with that feedback, we'll have, I guess, a version 2 of that statement. And then,
I think that's like a fine line on open meeting law.
I agree.
yeah, I mean, but
But
there's,
there are circumstances like reviews, right? For example, like we can send all of our feedback to a person who aggregates that all. But I believe there's exceptions and
let me run that, what I just described through town council and see if they have an issue with that. Because again, there's no direct communication from one select board member to another. Everyone's providing feedback to me individually, and then,
but I guess then
I incorporate those changes into it. And, at no time am I saying, this person, at no time have I indicated this select board member made these changes, type of thing. Looks like Cindy has her hand up.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I just want to interject that what I think the concern that Valerie and Veronica both have is that is what's referred to as a serial meeting when the town administrator does this with the 3 board. And you talked about doing, getting feedback once from them is probably fine, but once you got the feedback and then sent something back to the select board again, that's where you really get into the serial meeting where you're going back and forth and you're having a meeting with them individually, but it's all coming together. So I wouldn't go anywhere near that.
I think from what I understand in the one town that seemed to have a public relations policy, it seemed like it was a much larger town and they probably had a pretty established relationship and it was kind of a carte blanche, like if we ask them for a statement, we just let them release it type thing.
Mhm.
And I don't feel comfortable with that type of.
No, I don't either. So I think we should do what Nelson said he does, go, and then in a meeting, vote on the statement.
Probably.
I think that's what we have to do because we do have a statement that hasn't been released because we haven't voted on it. I think we've
Okay.
all provided our feedback, but we don't know what that feedback is. So, anyway.
But I thought we were waiting for a policy before we could vote on it.
I
mean, I
think we
think,
just need an agreement
yeah, I
amongst
think in the
us.
long run, it would be nice to have a policy, but you don't have to have a policy in order to vote on a specific public statement.
Right.
Okay. When did we discuss that then?
I mean, when I looked back at the meeting with CSS, it was basically, we said we wanted to discuss having a policy related to public relations statements. But that
Right.
was the extent. Yep, which
Yeah.
we are doing now.
Right, and we don't have a policy.
Yeah, we didn't say we had to have a policy. We just said we wanted to have that further discussion.
So we should look at the statement at the next meeting,
Okay.
I guess.
Going to put that on the 9th. Okay?
Yes.
Sure.
And if we want a policy, we could, you know, what Nelson said is what we can do, and
Yeah,
just
I'm
write it
not
out.
sure if I'm not sure if we need an entire policy for it, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Seems,
I like the idea of asking CSS if they have a policy they recommend.
yeah,
And they must do all sizes of cities and towns, so one
Yeah.
that's comparable to us would make sense, I think. Okay, we don't need any motion there now.
We'll just put it on the agenda for next
For the
week.
9th. I have that.
Thank you.
Okay, now just looking at time. I have 4 minutes. Can I take to our next appointment anyway? 5.1,
this is probably
second reading.
that's gonna take me more than 3 minutes.
Oh.
Can we ask Callie, is there someone from, the,
Insurance?
yeah, combined insurance, are they, will they be joining us, or do we need to, punt this to another day?
Well, we could take a roll call and see if Jennifer Johnson is online with us today. I don't see her here, but I believe that she intended to attend the next meeting, and I think the select board wanted us to kind of give an overview of what the concept was today in the interim, but we can punt that if you like.
Yeah, I think without, combined insurance, being at this meeting and sort of giving their presentation, it might not be the best use of our time, since this is sort of their platform that they're looking to, provide to us. So,
Did we not
one-
get a confirmation of them being here? Is that what you're saying? We
Well, I
haven't,
think they plan to come to the next meeting. But last I knew, the board had requested that Nelson and I just provide kind of an overview of the concept today. That's why it's on the agenda. That was my understanding of it anyway. Which I can do in a nutshell. And what do we have left? 2 minutes?
yeah,
Well, we have a 5 o'clock, so we have plenty of time, don't we?
no, they are the 5 o'clock.
Right. So why don't we
2.3.
just talk about this and see what it is, and then we can get the proposal next time, if that's the deal.
Okay,
Mhm. So Nelson, do you want to overview or do you want me to step in?
why don't you step in, but I don't think you'll be able to start for another 2 minutes, because we've advertised it at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
okay, well, I'm at, oh yeah, 4:58. Well, I don't have anything that Val can read quickly. Let me see.
What about the
5.2,
5.2, the emergency assistance funds policy? What is
Yes.
that? Because there was nothing in the SharePoint for that.
Oh, well, because the motion is to direct town council to stop reviewing the emergency
read.
assistance funds policy.
I can make that motion, Lori, if
Okay.
you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And that is 5.2.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to direct town council to stop reviewing the emergency assistance funds policy to be revisited at a later time for will research. I move to pause until revisited posting for vacancy for the Abraham S. French Fund Committee. I move to pause until revisited any distributions of funds for emergency assistance. No application will be processed until further notice. The select board directs the town administrator to let potential applicants know about about the halt and post so on the select board portion of the website.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
I was just gonna say, and just for clarification from Nelson, it's a very council intensive process that we don't have the funds for at the moment, correct?
Right.
Correct, yeah, it's gonna require a bit of research into the will of this Abram S. French Fund, and
Okay.
what's allowable and what isn't. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of research from town council. So we're just putting a pause on it at the moment.
And we're not intending of stopping the program, there's legal issues that have to be.
Right.
The program is paused at this point.
Paused.
So in that respect, it's stopped for the foreseeable future until the town again has enough funds to go through and do that. There were open meeting law questions about the meetings and this and that, and it just became, it needs to be paused until we can research. So,
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll take a roll call vote we are at 5:01 p.m.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schiffer and I. Thank you. So now we are back to 2.3 at 5:01. Nelson O'Callaghan.
Yep, I'll take it from here. So there's no secret that the cost of healthcare went up drastically last year, and we're anticipating another drastic increase this year. And in trying to remain proactive to counteract some of that cost for the town, I've been looking at different potential solutions. Currently, the town pays 75% of healthcare insurance, as you know. We're not anticipating or we're not proposing any changes there. What we are considering is adding another option to the mix, and not something to replace necessarily the plans that we have, but adding a high deductible plan, which in itself would save the town considerable money, but may not be as attractive to an employee. But there's another half of that. So we're looking for a way to reduce the cost for both the employee and the town while ensuring that the level of coverage is still equitable for the employee. And we think we found a solution. We're still waiting on some numbers from Maya, some quotes. The only quotes that we've gotten so far are with the high deductible plan of $500 and $1,500 respectively for individual and family plans. And that didn't make a stark enough difference really to make this proposal work. I don't think we have to crunch some numbers, but in essence, the crux of the plan is that with high deductible, obviously the employee would pay more upfront. There would be less coverage offered as a result of high deductible plan as well. And so it's less attractive to the employee, but we really would want to entice employees into a high deductible plan because it could save considerable money for the town. The way to do that, we think, there are couple different ways, but one of the solutions we're considering now is to add a supplemental coverage plan. And the company that we've been discussing that with is called Combined Insurance. Currently, we have a supplemental coverage provider, which is Colonial Insurance. And I have asked them to come back with some numbers as well. So the idea is that with the supplemental coverage plan, the employee would then pay the high deductible plan premium for the Blue Cross plan, and then would pay for supplemental coverage, which would bridge the gap of some of that coverage they would lose in a high deductible plan, but that the combination of both of those costs would still cost less to the employee than what they pay now. And the town would be saving considerable money because of the difference with the high deductible plan premium versus the plans that we have now. So that's the overall concept. it's important to entice the employees into it with the supplemental plan, or the other alternative would be a high deductible plan with an HSA plan. We haven't looked into that yet. Pepperell has something like that. And that's where we're at. So we're trying to get some numbers. We couldn't get some information that we really could have been key from Maya because we have less than 100 employees enrolled. And so now they don't offer that information to us. And still struggling to get some quotes from them in regard to different levels of high deductible plans so that we can contrast them side by side and perhaps give you an estimate of what it would save the town. And that's it in a nutshell. Nelson, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you gave a good overview of what we're looking to accomplish by considering combined insurance. Yeah, that's just one thing that they offer. They would also offer the various supplemental plans that Colonial currently offers. I think life insurance. What's the other one? Disability insurance.
Long-term,
Yeah,
short-term.
long-term, short-term disability. They offer all that as well, in addition to what you just described. So, next time we can invite combined insurance, and they can certainly make a presentation and answer any questions that the select board might have.
Do you
So
have,
Combined did send us a proposal. We have some numbers from them. The more vital element to getting these numbers as far as projecting or estimating would be the numbers that we're waiting on from Maya. So we'll work on that for sure. I also feel, as I have before, that it would not be a horrible time to consider other providers. I'd have to look at the timeline to see if that is doable, for implementation by the next fiscal year. That would be cutting it short, but I think at any time during the year, we should always be considering that just to increase our leverage at the negotiation table.
Thank you, Callie.
You're
And thank
welcome.
you for all your work on that.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on. We'll go back to 5.1. Val, second reading of the alcoholic beverage licensing policy.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
You can just take a little nap if you need to. Okay, this is the second reading of the alcoholic beverage licensing policy. Gotta do some stretches. Number 1, purpose. It is the desire of the Townsend Select Board to adopt a uniform policy governing the alcoholic beverage licenses it grants and administers as the local licensing authority, LLA, under General Law, Chapter 138. Administration of alcoholic beverage licenses. Approved lapsed license. Approvals issued by the licensing board are valid for 6 months from the date of ABCC approval. If the license is not issued within this time because the applicant failed to satisfy all conditions imposed by the licensing board, the approval will lapse and the applicant must reapply and participate in a new hearing. Right to modify or amend. The LLA reserves the right to modify or amend the rules and regulations below, or to adapt such other additional rules and regulations as it deems necessary. Notwithstanding these regulations, the LLA may impose different and/or more stringent requirements, conditions, and/or penalties upon a particular license and/or licensed premises where necessary to assure public safety or to meet any other public need. 3, types of license procedure. The Town of Townsend issues licenses in accordance with General Law, Chapter 138, and the regulations promulgated by the Commonwealth's Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, ABCC. To apply for a license to sell alcoholic beverages, except for one-day special license under General Law, Chapter 138, Section 14, please complete and submit the applicable application, which can be found on the ABCC's website. www.mass.gov/abcc. Criminal Offender Record Information Query. The manager of record listed on the application must complete a query check and sign required authorization form at the time the application is submitted to the LLA. Town officials review. All applications will be reviewed by the town officials prior to the scheduled hearing. Number one, building commissioner to ensure compliance with zoning bylaws and building codes and regulations. 2, fire chief to ensure compliance with fire codes and regulations. 3, police chief licensing agent to investigate application and make recommendation to the licensing board. 4, tax collector to ensure that there are no outstanding tax liabilities. 5, land use coordinator to review any land use issues regarding the location on the premises. Public hearing. A public hearing will be scheduled with the LLA to review the application. The applicant or their representative should be present to answer any questions. The applicant is responsible for all hearing-related costs, including legal advertisements and a butter notification if necessary. Licenses will not be approved for applicants who fail to pay said costs. Once signed and approved, the LLA will forward the application to the ABCC. License denial. In the event the LLA does not approve the license request, a written notification outlining the reasons for such action will be sent within 10 days of the public hearing to the ABCC and the applicant. Fee schedule. After the ABCC notifies the LLA that the application has been approved and Form 43 has been received, the applicant will be notified. All new licenses and transfer of licenses are required to pay the dwelling fees to the town of Townsend. Section 12, all alcoholic restaurants, $1,500. Section 15, all alcoholic retail package stores, $1,050. Section 12, wine and malt restaurant, $750. Section 15, wine and malt retail package store, $1,000. In the case of the license transfer, the full amount of the fee is charged. The license board does not prorate the license cost or annual fee. Hours of operation. Unless otherwise set forth on an individual license, licensee's hours of operation shall be as follows. Section 12, restaurants, hotels, clubs, and general on premises, Monday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., Sunday, 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. Section 15, package stores, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. Notwithstanding these regulations, the LLA may impose different and or more stringent requirements, conditions, and or penalties upon a particular licensee and or licensed premises where necessary to assure public safety and or meet any other public need. 4, renewal of existing liquor license. In accordance with ABCC regulations, renewal applications of existing licenses shall be received no later than November 30th. Renewal applications will be mailed to the establishment's mailing address on record unless previous arrangements have been made by the licensee. Upon receipt of the renewal package, the licensee must complete all forms, including the workers' compensation affidavit and the tax attestation form. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 16A, this application must be signed in the month of November and returned to the office of the Selectboard, 272 Main Street, Townsend, Massachusetts, by November 30th. Any renewal application not signed during the month of November will be treated as a new license and would be subject to all the procedures set forth under Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 15A. Number 2, all Section 12 license renewals are contingent upon receipt of a valid certificate of inspection issued by the building commissioner and signed by the chief of the fire department and proof of the required liquor liability insurance coverage. Number 5, findings of violation. Reports of liquor law infractions will be fully investigated by the LLA. Upon receipt of a report that a licensee has violated General Law, Chapter 138, the ABCC's rules or regulations, their license conditions, or this policy, the LLA will conduct a public hearing to determine the appropriate remedial action. Number 2, the licensee will be notified in writing of this violation and will be notified in writing of the date and time the licensing board will conduct the hearing to review the matter. Number 3, if the LLA, after hearing conducted pursuant to General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, determines that a licensee has violated General Law, Chapter 138, the ABCC's rules or regulations, their license conditions, or this policy, the board may modify, suspend, or revoke such license. Number 6, one-day liquor licenses. One-day special licenses are issued by the LLA pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 14. Businesses or charities that hold events where alcoholic beverages are served are required to obtain a one-day special liquor license from the licensing board. The LLA will be the determinant whether, no, sorry. The LLA will determine whether a one-day special liquor license is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 14. There's just one little word change there, Nelson.
Yeah.
The LLA will determine, not will be the determine.
Yeah.
Thanks. To be considered for one-day special liquor license, the applicant must meet the following requirements. Number one, no more than one license can be issued per premises at one time. Number two, applicant must provide a rain date for the event to be approved by the LLA should there be a cancellation due to inclement weather. Three, the license fee of $20 is required at the time of the application submittal. Four, applications shall be filed with the LLA at least 30 days prior to the event. It is recommended the applications be filed 60 days in advance. Number five, the licensee is required to post one-day special liquor license in a conspicuous location during the event. Six, all alcohol must be purchased by the one-day special liquor licensee, license holder from a licensed Massachusetts wholesaler in compliance with Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 14. Alcohol may not be purchased out of state from a caterer or from a Section 15 package store. A list of approved wholesalers is located on the ABCC website at www.mass.gov/abcc, or you may contact the Office of the Licensing Board to receive a copy. 7, applicant must provide contact information for the event and operating managers as part of the incorporation of link to ABCC website wholesaler list. Delivery and storage. Applicant must indicate whether an outside vendor is to be used and identify a vendor at the time of application submittal. Number 2, no one-day special liquor license holders may have alcoholic beverages delivered between the hours of 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. Number 3, all one-day special liquor licenses will expire at midnight, 12 a.m., and last call must occur at least half an hour prior to expiration. Number 4, one-day special liquor licenses will not be approved for any sale hours before noon on Sunday. Number 5, no alcohol may be stored on unlicensed premises. Number 6, proof of a valid transportation delivery permit held by a Section 12C caterer or licensed wholesaler, importer, manufacturer, farmer winery, farmer brewery, or special permit holder shall be provided with the application. Number 7, for special events covered under a one-day special liquor license, alcohol may be delivered the day of the event and removed from the premises after the event at the expiration of the special license. Under state law, Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 22, holders of a one-day special liquor license may not transport alcohol without a permit. Serving requirements. The license holder should be present at all times during which alcoholic beverages are being sold at the event. License holders are responsible for ensuring that minors are not served alcoholic beverages and are not drinking alcoholic beverages on the licensed premises. Number 3, all servers must be 21 years of age and must be certified in alcohol service best practices from TIPS or similar training program. Number 4, license holder must implement a drink cap of a maximum of 4 alcoholic beverages per person. Number 5, the license holder is responsible for ensuring that no disturbance, disorder, or illegality takes place in or on the licensed premises. Number 6, applicant must provide a schematic map indicating licensed service areas and confirming alcohol will not leave designated service areas. Liability police detail. Number 1, license approval for outdoor events is conditioned on the license holder securing a police detail for said event. Number 2, the license holder must provide a certificate of liability insurance to include liquor liability, naming the town of Townsend as an added insured party. Coverage must be as follows: $1 million per occurrence, $2 million general aggregate. 30-day limitation. No license holder may be granted a one-day special liquor license for more than a total of 30 days per calendar year, and no special license will be granted to any person while his application for an annual license under Section 12 is pending. Special licenses under General Law, Chapter 138, Section 14 are subject to additional statutory requirements. A license for all alcoholic beverages may be issued only to an individual acting on behalf of a nonprofit organization. Licenses for wine and or malt beverages may be issued to any eligible individual. The 30-day aggregate limit does not apply to dining halls maintained by incorporated educational institutions authorized to grant degrees unless a limited exception has been granted. To be signed out of session. You're muted, Lori.
Sorry. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the alcoholic beverage policy as so read, to be signed out of session.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Any further discussion?
1 second.
The
There's
edit?
something. 1 minute. Yeah. Can I update that motion?
You certainly can.
Thank you. I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the alcoholic beverage licensing policy as read, contingent upon clarification of signature line needed for licensing agent, review by licensing agent, and sign out of session with signature stamp.
Okay. And
I-
that one little edit that Nelson has already made, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But why? Okay, I thought I read Sabrina's email and saw Adam's comment.
So do we not, I don't
Yeah.
think we need that.
We don't.
um,
That was where the question was for the police chief to sign it.
yeah,
And his comment was it wasn't necessary. He doesn't know why it was done like the last time around. For the policy anyway, because many other departments are involved in this whole policy setup and nobody else signs it.
so why do we need the part that Valerie just added
We
about?
don't. I can change it again.
So we'll go back to the original
Yeah,
motion.
without the licensing agent.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the alcoholic beverage licensing policy and sign out of session with signature stamp.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Before we move on to the next thing, I'd like to go back and correct something that I stated on 4.3. I said that we would move that to the 9th, but it's actually the 8th. As that next
Monday.
meeting was changed to Monday, the 8th. So I just want to make that correction before we go any further. Okay, 5.3, first reading of updated buy recycle policy. Now, this note we got late today was that it was approved by town council and he's had no changes to it. Do you have that for your first reading?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yep, I just put it on SharePoint,
I've got it.
so, yep.
Okay,
The only thing he said was that we should note that it's a change of name from buy recycled to
Yeah.
sustainable purchasing policy, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's a more broad policy. And it is necessary for applying for some grants in the future, so.
yeah. Are you
So-
ready, Val, after your last little? Are you
I
good?
got it.
Okay, go for it. 5.3.
If you want me to read it, I could, but it's short.
This is policy 8/2025 and it replaces policy 01/2018, sustainable purchasing policy. The town of Townsend recognizes that procurement decisions of our employees and contractors have significant impacts on the environment. By including environmental, public health, and waste reduction considerations in our purchasing decisions, along with price, performance, and product availability, we can remain fiscally responsible while promoting practices that minimize waste and environmental impacts. The purpose of this document is to establish a framework for a sustainability-based purchasing program for the town of Townsend. Objectives of this policy include making purchasing decisions that, number one, minimize waste and prioritize reuse by identifying alternative options to new and single-use products and equipment. Number two, support recycling markets by purchasing products with post-consumer recycled content and that are recyclable after use. Number three, conserve natural resources such as energy and water. And number four, minimize environmental impacts from pollution, greenhouse gases, and toxins/hazardous products. To meet the above goals, the town of Townsend will, whenever feasible, purchase products and services offered through the Operational Services Division's Environmentally Preferable Products and Services Guide, prioritize donation and reuse before disposal of goods or equipment, and whenever possible, utilize the state surplus property program. Adhere to federal comprehensive procurement guidelines for minimal accepted recycled content levels when purchasing office paper, envelopes, notepads, and file folders. Prioritize purchasing products that are durable, long-lasting, reusable, or refillable, and avoid purchasing single-use products. The town of Townsend is committed to sustainable purchasing and empowers employees to be innovative and demonstrate leadership by considering environmental and public health benefits while making purchasing decisions.
Is there a second? Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute.
Uh,
I got ahead of myself. Discussion. Any discussion?
I
I
think
think
we
we
can
had
just,
a discussion last time on it.
yeah, I think we can just move the second reading to December 8th.
Yeah.
I mean,
Will-
we don't have to make a motion.
Will do.
Didn't mean
Will
make
do.
a motion. It just meant put it on December 8th.
Okay, I got it. All right. 5.4. Community Preservation Act discussion. Veronica?
This is mine.
Well, CPA. I
We
thought it
need,
was.
we need to appoint someone to the committee, correct?
Nelson, do you have anything on this?
I thought we appoint 2 members,
That's
but it
what
doesn't
I,
have to be a select board member.
that is correct.
Oh,
And I thought there was a posting out. I was wondering what this was on for. I didn't know if it was maybe Vicky was going to talk about paperwork to be filled out or what, but I thought that we had posted for members. Is that true? We have to appoint 2 members. So the question is, do we have any responses for that? I know that somehow it had I don't know that we have to appoint a member, one of us, to the committee.
I don't think so. I think it's
We
just 2 members.
2 members who can
Yeah, I
be
think,
community members.
yeah, and Lance was the second member,
oh, I was
correct?
going to say, we just appointed Lance.
Lance is for the planning board, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Appointee for CPA, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
that's not one of our appointments.
That is correct. So I
think-
guess we just need more people who are
Apply?
interested to come forward and fill out a volunteer response form.
And I thought there was an individual, I'm not gonna say who it is, I thought they had submitted something a while ago, this was before, the committee was actually approved by the AG's office, so I think we had suggested to the individual that they need to, submit a new form.
And I thought they chose not to.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
In talking to Sabrina, that's what I thought, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we are, yeah, the select board can, appoint one more person to the,
2.
oh, yeah, we,
But yeah,
we,
Lance is the planning board rep.
didn't we appoint someone at the last
In
meeting?
Greeno,
Yeah.
but
And that was a select board appointed
We
position.
did?
Yeah, we did.
we did appoint Kim Greeno to the committee, yes.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
so you
sorry.
got, you have one more,
Yeah.
person to, appoint to this committee. Once we receive some volunteer response forms.
Okay. But planning board is the only one that has submitted somebody under the creation of this CPA?
There's other boards that haven't submitted anybody yet.
Let me go to,
I don't have my vacancy list
I'm looking here.
current.
So let
I
me-
don't know if I think that would be on those boards. I don't know if it would be a vacancy, right? Because
It
it'd have to
should
be
be
the board appointed.
posted for openings.
Yeah.
under the
But so
volunteer
say
board.
conservation had to appoint somebody.
And that might be Kim, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, so it would be a member of conservation. It wouldn't be that they were posting for a vacancy for the CPA through conservation.
But they
Correct?
could, because you can have a representative of
Yeah.
any one of those boards, does not have to be one of the board members.
So they could do that if they didn't have someone on their
They could post.
board. Yeah.
Okay, let me go to volunteer opportunities and see what we have. Community Preservation Committee.
Okay. And how many people are on there? So how many vacancies are there?
There will be 2 members appointed by the Select Board. There will be 5 additional members at Conservation Commission, Historic District Commission, Cemetery and Parks, Planning Board, and the Housing Authority. So those are the 5. So Conscom has to bring someone forward, HDC, Cemetery and Parks, Planning Board has, and the Housing Authority.
And
So people, the
the housing authority doesn't have a full committee. They don't have a majority.
they don't have a quorum at this
They don't
point.
have a quorum, no.
So anyway, that's where,
Okay,
so we need more people for CPA.
right.
And,
And other things too, so.
but for that, we do need a
Yeah.
committee seated, so. All right,
Okay, we'll keep that moving. 5.5, review, discuss, report on select board and town administrators' goals, FY 2026. Veronica, do you want to take that?
yeah, I'm looking for SharePoint on this. So hang on 1 minute. So I guess we need to go through everything that is there. Did everybody look at this? Okay. So I guess this is where we are. We had 6 goals that we identified for a town this past summer. The budget process and the timetable, DPW restructuring, regionalization of services, human resources, policies, and then our secondary goals were policies and procedures and communication. And under that, create an internal finance team and coordinate meetings. There should be another spreadsheet on this that includes dates for everything, month by month, and the dates. Did we look at that? I don't know why it wasn't put in here. Review financial budgeting software options, which we are currently underway. Develop fiscal year 27 budget memo, which we just discussed today. Coordinate joint meetings with the Select Board and FinCom. Present a final operating and capital budget for annual town meeting. So Nelson, are you the one that created this, that got put in here?
Yes, I took what was discussed a while ago, incorporated that in here, added a few more bullet items, here and there. So this is what I came up with, correct?
Okay, yes. So what I would like to see as well is the month by month charts so that we know what the dates are that these will be completed and which ones require warrant articles on the annual town meeting or the special town meeting at the annual, because some of them do. Some of them might require warrant articles in the special town meeting that we're doing in January. Or March, as the case may be.
Mhm.
So January, I think. We don't have a date for that yet. But anyway, so in addition to this, this would be for progress review. I would like to see the committed dates for each of these. So that's the other grid that has months and when things are going to be completed.
So can we have that updated for the December 8th meeting?
Yes.
this will carry, on each of our meetings. So, okay, 5.5 will be on 12/8.
Okay, but before we get there, do we,
Okay.
the three of us, want to discuss each of these blocks right now? Is there anything else that we see that needs to go in here for budget process timetable?
We have the tentative all department heads meeting in March, correct? That's set. I noticed that was part of the budget memo, right?
Yeah, I haven't really discussed dates yet, but it's typically the first Saturday
Saturday,
of
March.
March, which would be March 7th. That's why I put tentatively on there, just to protect myself in case, that gets, pushed for whatever reason.
I guess for number 5, then, these are the joint meetings that we typically hold in February, correct?
Yeah, correct. Where each department, multiple departments would meet with, select board and finance committee, over multiple nights to sort of present their budgets and for, everyone with questions, to be, asked and answered at that meeting.
So I guess the question is that one meeting or is that multiple meetings?
In the
It's
past, it's been
meetings.
multiple.
Wasn't it, at one point it was one day? And then it
That
went.
is
That's the
the
last one.
budget summit. That
budget
is
summit.
where, so after we meet, this is in the budget process, after we and the FinCom meet with the department heads and the departments present their budget, the TA takes that information and presents an operating budget, and we review that at the budget summit. The capital budget is also due by March 1st. So capital planning needs to be seated and meeting. And the chair of that was Mark Hussey last year, but I saw an email from, I shouldn't say, but I saw an email from Sabrina on who are the capital planning members right now. And does there need to be a posting? Because typically, we've started meeting in December, but definitely by the beginning of January.
So then there needs to be a posting if we don't have a seated.
Correct. There are some members, but there was a question about, I thought Carol Hothses was the planning board member and Geraldine was a FinCom member on the board, but there's a question about whether or not that is the case. So anyway,
They both members of finance.
they are both members of finance, and Mark Hussey is on there also as a finance. He's not, I don't know if he's at large or I don't know what he's on there as, what his appointment role is. Is he at large or is he otherwise? I don't know. And John Barrett is the one who does that. Maybe the town clerk's office knows. I don't know. But that just needs clarified so we know whether or not we have a board.
Okay, Nelson, can you clarify that for us on the 8th? So that we know
Yes.
about and what to post and get that going?
So according to the most recent list of appointed officials, this was dated just yesterday. The capital planning committee, there's only 4 members: Veronica, Carol, Geraldine, and Natalie Call. So Mark is not currently on that list.
Okay, so the question is Carol the planning board? So planning, finance, and select board each have a member. And
Looks like
then there are at-large members.
Yeah, according to the capital planning committee website, Geraldine is the finance committee rep and Carol is the planning board rep.
And I am the select board rep. And
Yes.
Natalie is at large.
Correct.
So we
So-
need at least one other at large.
Yeah, so we should post.
Okay,
for that. Is it posted? That's my,
The posting is done by John Barrett.
oh, okay, got it. So, okay,
Can you check with John?
I will, yes.
Okay.
So back to what Valerie was saying. The meetings in February are joint with the Select Board and FinCom and individual department heads. Each department head comes in with their budget. And
It's the regularly scheduled meetings in February. That's
that is
what,
correct. And
Yeah.
we've kind of alternated in the past, whether it was Select Board joint at FinCom or FinCom joint at Select Board, if that makes any sense. That's the way it's always been done in the past. And then there should be a seventh thing here, Budget Summit at the beginning of March, where all the final decisions are made. So maybe that's 5.5. Unless you're considering this coordinating joint meetings to include both the February and the Budget Summit.
I'll just add, budget summit, uh, coordinate joint meetings and budget summit.
Okay, yep, that will
It's
work.
all just there.
Yep. And the review financial budgeting software options, I see that as not only review, but and implement. Review and implement. So review the financial budgeting software options and implement one of those options.
Okay.
Anything
I think
else?
my only other, I think we all are aware of it, but I think that final operating budget should include that 5-year outlook this year, because last year that was not included. Is that, do people agree with that, or?
Yeah.
It would be nice to have that, yeah.
Okay.
And for that, I think that there's a warrant article needed in here for the January meeting to provide funding for whatever option we decide to go with. So a decision needs to be made. I'm looking for that month by month breakdown of when these things are going to occur.
Mhm.
So that'll be next meeting.
Yes, there will be a second document, the one that we've been working off of.
Mhm. Okay.
This one I thought was just for notes on how things were going in the,
I mean, is there any reason it couldn't both be in one place?
sure, if there's room to, I
Just
mean,
for
we
the
might
dates.
need one page for each of these then, because we need some headings that say, the months, which at this point would be January, February, March, April, May, June. What happens in what month? So if we would take this document and make it each goal a page, so it would become a 6-page document.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good
Putting
with
it
that.
all in one. But I want to know what the deliverables are on what date.
Okay, I'll change the formatting so it's less cramped. Each section it's its own page, and I'll add some uh, dates of when it's expected that these um, uh, items will be accomplished.
And Nelson, maybe at the bottom, put warrant articles. What requires warrant articles? Or put it somehow underneath, like the number 3, that requires a warrant article for funding.
Even an asterisk or some mark that
Hmm.
that's.
Yeah,
Okay.
some way to indicate that. Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, so that will be on the 8th. Are we good to move on?
And unless anybody has anything else that they want to add in here.
At the moment,
I don't.
Okay, so let's just go for the 6-pager with dates and deliverables timeline kind of
Okay.
for next week.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
5.6, review, discuss, report on collaborative regionalization opportunities between towns and Ashby Pepperell.
I don't have a ton to report on that front. Um, I will, I think I mentioned it last time. The next fire EMS regionalization meeting has been pushed to December 11th. It's going to be at the water treatment plant in their training room, and we're still awaiting RSVP answers from all the various towns that we've invited.
Okay, maybe you'll have more of an update on the 8th as to who's going to participate.
I hope so, yes.
Okay.
I would like to see on the 8th that Excel spreadsheet, Nelson, that you had last time, where everybody was asked to put in their numbers. I think Andrew McLean made that. I would like to see that filled out if that's available or whatever is available at our next meeting.
Okay, I will, I'll see if folks have, across the 11 communities have started to populate that spreadsheet yet. And
Okay.
I will provide an update if there is one.
Okay.
Okay. Certainly we're going to need that. We've been asking for it before we make any or can discuss knowledgeably about it. Okay, 5.7 regarding restructuring of departments as follows. I'm not sure. Okay, as follows. Nelson, do you want to take 5.7?
Yeah, the only thing that I'm continuing to look into is the creation of a DPW. You know, I provided sort of my feedback and my report, but I think the direction of the select board is for me to just continue to explore what steps are needed to possibly get DPW in place. So I will continue looking at what steps would be needed and provide an update once I make some progress on that front.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Veronica.
I guess for me, in addition to that, and it's one of our goals, I think we need to look at the overall organization of the town. Is there other places outside of the DPW that we can restructure? Because given that we are already 270,000 in the hole, looking at with the anticipated increase that we expect all around what you presented last time or 2 meetings ago, I think we have to look seriously at what positions are absolutely needed, what job requirements need to be looked at, job descriptions, and because where are we getting the 270,000? And that's given schools coming in at 3%,
Right.
which
Um,
is more than likely, I hope that they do, but um, each percentage point adds an additional 150,000 to our deficit.
yep.
And so that is a concern. We have to look at what's available,
Yeah.
what the jobs are, and where we can restructure.
Yeah. And, I will need to be, we'll certainly need to be kind of careful how we phrase it or how we present it in an open meeting. You know, we shouldn't be considering making changes without first involving the union, or we do it in executive session type of thing. So I think I agree, we need to look at it, but I think there are certain restrictions on how and where we actually have these discussions. Because, you know, I'm not comfortable making those suggestions in an open meeting when we haven't even consulted with the unions yet. So I think it might end up being a executive session discussion. You know,
That's fine, but I think we have to involve the unions ASAP. So it might be worth, we need to know, the executive session might be where you have looked at the organization chart and said we can, restructure here, 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 and here. I mean, from your thing with the DPW, it doesn't look like there's going to be a big restructuring there in this fiscal year. And so I think we need to look at that and see, because we have $270,000 that needs to be absorbed somehow. So, and that's before we ever even see that's for starters.
Right.
Um, and so how are we doing that? And I think we need to have an idea of where that is. And I do think we need to start those discussions with the union, not only for contracts, but also for organizational structure ASAP.
I
My
have
opinion.
I have to agree with Veronica and Nelson. I thank you for your report on the DPW. It was not very encouraging. There's not that it's a bad idea, but there's no savings of costs that will be significant enough to, at this point anyway, to do the change. Um, so I thank you for looking into that. And again, I think we've been saying it. We don't even have to talk about positions. We only have to talk about our financial situation. And that is not good. There's no way of making it any better than not good. So realistically, everybody has to be looking at cuts, and our only choices are to look at the unions. At this
Not
point,
only the whole
the
organization.
whole structure, right? Everybody, we don't know. So I think it's would be a very good idea to start discussing with them how they feel or think we are going to be absorbing all of the cost. Where are we going to come up with the money to keep everyone? We'd love to keep everyone. That's not even a topic of discussion, but it's how are we going to do it? And I don't have the answer, but somebody's going to have to come up with the answer.
Is there ever a time at which I know in the past in budget memos it said, okay, do a 2% and then maybe a 2% and 2%. Has there ever been a time at which we've asked the departments come back with X% off the bottom line?
I think that was afterwards.
Usually it's afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
once the initial numbers came in and it didn't look good, that's when I think, you know, select board, finance, TA goes back to the department heads. We need you to cut 10% off your budget or whatever the amount might be or percentage. But that's usually after we get the initial numbers. Yeah.
Okay. We have about 20 minutes now before we go to the next public hearing.
No, we have,
5.
oh, it was 6:10, was it?
6:10,
Yeah,
all
so-
right, 15 minutes.
Yep. So I think
Um,
we might be able to get through most of it.
So where are we? Can I just ask, where are we on 5.7? Nelson, can you check with Jane and see how to do this? I mean, sure, we can do the budgets, we can request an override from the town. But if that override fails, as it did last year twice, we need to be prepared to make some tough decisions. And so I guess I would like to know the timeline on how one goes about um, doing what we may need to do.
All right, I'll talk to Jane about,
Okay, and let
the
us know.
process.
Okay, next is 5.8, review, discuss lease with Townsend Fire EMS Relief Association for the Old Harbor Fire Station and Old Central Fire Station. Nelson.
So I think it's probably gonna be Veronica and I tag teaming this one. Um, for just a little bit of history, there was an RFP that was put out a few years ago um, for to rehab the old Harbor Fire Station and the old Central Fire Station. The only proposal that we received back was from the Townsend Fire EMS Relief Association. And their proposal was to turn it into a sort of fire equipment museum. And, they said they would pay for all the renovations and construction involved in getting those fire stations to become a firefighting museum. And I think one of their proposed items was that they would be given a 50-year lease, to turn it into a museum. That was voted on at town meeting, and prior to that, the select board had, voted to
What year was this in, 23?
20,
September, go ahead.
yeah, why don't you go, Veronica? I think it was around September 2023.
September 26, 2023 was when the proposal was voted on by the select board to be accepted. So they accepted it on September 26, 2023. The 50-year lease was part of the deal, and that needed to go to town meeting. March 6th, I want to say, 2024, the select board voted the warrant, which included 2 articles for the special town meeting during the annual town meeting of May 2024. So at the annual meeting at May 2024, that was where the town approved having a lease and for 50 years with the Fire EMS Association for the renovation of both of those as a fire museum, both the Old Central and the Old Harbor, 2 separate proposals.
And so I think backing up a little bit, there was in a recent meeting questions about when town meeting warrant articles are voted on and approved, where's the follow-up? And this kind of leads to that discussion. This, as Veronica pointed out, was approved at an annual town meeting, but
None of us there at the time.
right. And we assumed it was the TA that would, get that lease agreement in place, but this was kind of a weird time. I think Eric was about to finish up his term, and from what we can tell, we have not been able to find a executed 50-year lease. Now, everything has been approved. We just need to essentially get a draft agreement in front of the select board as well as the Relief Association and memorialize this this arrangement that has
The town already voted on.
already voted
Voted
on and passed. So, so that's where we're at the moment, so I can work with town council to get a draft agreement, drawn up. We have their proposal, so that would be, basically it would be, an exhibit, so to speak. But, it being a 50-year lease, there might be, maybe a special, clause or provision that, isn't part of the standard, town council template. So that's something I need to work with town council on to get it ready so that, the select board and the relief association can, review and, sign it.
So that leads into the discussion or the question we had about follow-up on warrant articles that the town votes on. Like, shouldn't there be some kind of template or spreadsheet or report at the end of the year that goes into the annual report that says what was voted on and the actions taken,
Well,
completed, whatever?
the town clerk takes minutes. It's the town's
Correct.
meeting. And so there are minutes from the meeting. But I think this is really an unusual situation in that all of the select board members turned over, the TA turned over, there was an interim TA and a new TA. I just think that it's
Yeah.
it's an anomaly.
Yeah.
And and everything is in place, everything is there. And so we just need to memorialize the lease, that's all.
Okay, so, but saying that, we usually have town council or a representative of council at our meetings.
And
At
there
the town
was,
meeting.
and there
Okay,
was. I was
and
at
there were,
that town meeting. That's how I knew that it was voted for a
okay,
lengthy lease. It wasn't the regular,
right.
5 or 10. I knew it was long. Um, and I mean,
I'm just trying to get back to process. So if that happened and town clerk writes up the minutes and has them in his office, and there are warrant articles with action items, should they not then go to town council? Once the minutes are done?
no.
I think a lot of it's probably the town administrator's office, right?
Or the water department, or the police department, or the fire department, or the conservation, whoever
Okay,
put the warrant article
on,
on the
okay,
warrant is responsible for getting it done. Now, there may be
okay,
legitimate reasons for not getting something done, for, saying, oh, we were going to buy this, but we've decided that this better thing, and so we didn't do what was in the warrant. We're going to do something else, and you go back to a special town meeting and change it up or whatever. But I think that normally it's the department head who puts the warrant on, whose responsibility it is to see it. And I don't think that it's ever been I don't know that setting up a policy for this is really needed.
okay,
I think it's the job of the person in charge of the department to see that whatever was voted actually happens.
okay.
And, in this particular situation, it happened to be the TA select board and, to Veronica's point, or was it Valerie's point, all the select board members turnover, we had an interim TA and then, me as the full-time TA. So, all that institutional knowledge and, this just, someone dropped the ball and, I don't think it's anyone's fault in particular. So we're just trying to close the loop on this one. Again, everyone, between the select board and the residents have voted in the affirmative for this particular lease.
So the intent was not to point fingers or saying that it was anybody's fault.
No,
Okay. The intent was process and trying to get it done. That's
I
all.
think this is just unusual. That's all.
Okay. All right. So we're good with this topic now? It's going to be taken care of. Nelson will take care of that.
Yep, I'll start looking into getting a draft contract in front of everyone to review.
it's a lot for December 8th coming up because that's only a few days away, but it would be great to have a draft.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Adam may have one. I don't know if you've checked with him, but Adam may have one.
yeah, not yet, but I'll be sure to circle back to him tomorrow to see if he has anything in his files.
Okay. I'm gonna try to see if we can get 5.9 done in the next 5 minutes before the public hearing. And that is a report from the VBCC update. You had in SharePoint the last three items that, oh, maybe I have them here. The three items that we proposed to add to the onboarding of
Mhm.
anybody coming in and being sworn in. So elected or appointed officials, because this is all about the volunteers, was the public body checklist for entering executive session. And that is directly from the state and updated, but a good idea to familiarize anybody who's coming in new or old, because things change, as to what the process is. And they can familiarize themselves with that beforehand. And then also the public hearing guidelines, that was done by Jack and Beth Faxon. Uh, very well, basically details everything you need to do for a public hearing. Um, legal notice is mentioned so that it's not stated above that the legal notice has to be done before the public hearing. But it does give the explanation as well as closing the public hearing and or if there's still issues and you continue to a date and time specific. What we didn't get, what I don't have on this one anyway, is just a note on what it is you need to do to continue it. Like, is there another posting or do you just put it on your next agenda kind of thing as an additional note? And then the template for the meeting agenda and minutes, basically being the same template, will still have the stamp on it. And you just change what it is for the chairman's name, your committee board name, whether it is the meeting agenda or the minutes of that meeting, your chair, vice chair, clerk. It'll be in template form. If there's no staff, you've got your whatever you need to hold your meeting. And it also will have the town seal. And since you have to turn an agenda in to the town clerk, the stamp is there, and it's also there for the minutes. So agenda and minutes all in the same form. Any questions, comments?
I think this is great. I think it's good to have all that stuff standardized. Is this going to become part of the volunteer handbook?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
And in that handbook, there will also be like listing of suggested trainings for each board, where to look for suggested trainings.
I'm gonna make that note because we're meeting again on Friday
I think you sent
this
out
week.
to department heads because I think
Yeah,
I
there was a
answered.
questionnaire that went out for
Yeah.
suggestions,
And so you probably have the
and
information.
trainings have been mentioned. I don't, we actually asked for all the departments to give their training links,
Mhm.
and so it will be a standard form. And whatever department it is, there will be one form that has all the training links
For
to it.
each for each committee, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. That's
So, um,
however works for what you're doing.
yeah, and the handbook has already been presented to you at a previous meeting, and everybody agreed on the handbook. We're just adding to the handbook,
Okay.
okay? but it's going to be a wealth of information, and especially for those boards that don't have a staff or it's part-time person. And this will mean that those who are a new member, just a member of a board, are going to know what the process is, what they can expect from the chairman, from the vice chairman, from the clerk.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys have considered this, but this is kind of related to this, and we can have a separate discussion about it later, but I know a lot of boards like FinCom or trustees of the library, they, like FinCom doesn't have a staff. The trustees of the library always just did this themselves. They consider this a responsibility of the board and not the staff member. And I know if we're looking at a lot of stuff over the next year, board members considering this more of their individual responsibility instead of a staff responsibility, maybe a something that could be part of a discussion. Because I believe it is it's the committee's responsibility to produce these documents.
Correct.
Not technically there could be stuff that's helping, but it is the committee's responsibility.
Yeah. So this is going to give them everything they need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have to think about it. It's not a plain piece of paper. They represent the town. So here's your template. Just fill in your information. And it's going to have the new and old business on it too. Yeah. So they'll be able to continue, and things fall off when they're done. I think it's pretty good. I think, and with the help of Jack and Harrison and Beth, and I mean, there's a lot of input that went into the stuff that's here. So if I could have a motion to accept the additional documents to go into the handbook for onboarding.
Yeah, I would make a motion to accept the recommendations of the BBCC regarding the handbook.
Is there a second?
Veronica Kell second, but I think that in the motion, I would want to mention the 3 documents that we have
The
because there may be more.
The ones tonight are the public body checklist for entering executive session from the state, which is not included in our handbook now. Public hearing guidelines. And a template for town board, commission, or committee meeting agendas and minutes.
Just say so moved.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay. I think I said them clearly. Okay, so.
And I will second the so moved, Veronica Kell.
Okay, and it was Valerie Goodrich that
Yes.
made the motion. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully we
Thanks,
have a
Lori.
little bit more for the next meeting. There'll be a report until we're done. So that item will be on our agendas again until we're done. Now, are we at 6? I've
Yep.
missed 6:10 and I apologize. We are now at 2.1. And I will call public hearing to order at 6:13 p.m.
Wait,
It is
she's gonna
for,
have to do a roll call vote, I think.
I missed what you said, Nelson.
No, don't worry about it. You're good.
Okay, I will read.
Um,
Let me see. I'll call the meeting to order and roll call, please.
Veronica Kell present.
Valerie Goodrich, present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Now, does the assessors call themselves together? This isn't joint, it's a public hearing. Okay, never mind. I will read the public notice.
Lori, just so you know, Vicky has a 6:30 in Dunstable for the same exact uh, reason of tax classification. So she has a hard stop at 6:30.
Okay. Should we have put this on earlier then?
No, no, it's fine.
Okay, let me read the public notice.
Okay.
The Select Board will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 6:10 PM in the Selectmen's Chambers, 272 Main Street, Townsend, Massachusetts, for the purpose of determining the percentages of local tax levy to be borne by each class of property for the fiscal year 2026. This hearing is in compliance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 56. Alternatively, the public may access the meeting via Zoom. And I'm not going to read the link. Interested taxpayers may present verbal or written comments prior to or during the hearing. Townsend Select Board, Laura Schifrin Chair, Veronica Cal Vice Chair, Valerie Goodrich Clerk. And this was published November 10th and 17th, 2025 in the Sentinel and Enterprise. Okay, I need to have everybody's, because there's no sign-in sheet here. I don't know if you have one in the office or if there's any member of the public in chambers.
There is not.
Okay, so Valerie, could you please make sure that you have a list of all of those on the screen, who we can see who they are? And I believe everyone is identified. Okay. We have 12, I mean, 3, 6. Okay. Thank you all for attending. To my knowledge, we have not received any written comments. And Vicky, the floor is yours.
I'm on mute, sorry. Good evening. Carol's gonna do the presentation.
Okay, Carol Conti here. So because of Townsend's small commercial base, it would take a large shift in our commercial industrial taxes to yield a modest residential tax reduction. For example, the residential tax rate would be reduced by 41 cents, while the commercial rate would increase by $5.54 per thousand. So because of that, the board does recommend that the Board of Selectmen adopt a residential shift factor of 1.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Sorry, 1 second, make sure. I, Valerie Goodrich, move to accept the percentage of local tax levy to a shift factor of 1 and sign the classification tax allocation form for fiscal year 2026 out of session with signature stamp.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and Nelson, I'll get the form to you tomorrow,
Okay,
the LA5, and you can have them sign, and then we can get everything submitted into Gateway.
sounds good. Thank you,
Alrighty.
Vicky.
Everybody.
All right, thank you, have a good night.
Thank you. I'll have a motion to adjourn the public hearing, please.
I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing at 6:19 PM.
And Veronica Cal second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Okay. So we are now back to 6.1, Nelson.
Let me see here. We talked about the town meeting article, following up on that. Department head meeting, we didn't have one because of today's storm. I don't really have an update on the animal inspector vacancy and the application that we received. It's on my list of things to do, so I hope to make some progress there shortly. The Townsend Facebook page, I hadn't had time to create an account yet, so that we can now sort of be the custodian of the page. So I'll make that one of my top priorities to get that account created. Let me see, municipal aggregation, we talked about that earlier with the 3-year rate that we agreed to. So that was kind of all I had for this meeting.
Okay. So we'll just put 3 of those. Not the first one and not the last one, but the other 3 will be on the next week's agenda for update.
Yes.
6.2. Boards and Legion report. I don't know. Val, do you have anything from the high school?
I think I updated most people last week on the budget form for the school. Our next meeting with them is in 2 weeks.
It is on, it's December 15th, yeah, 2 weeks.
And their finance subcommittee met this morning?
Yesterday.
Morning. Yeah, yesterday. And I caught up on some of that. I didn't finish all of it. But yeah, we don't have a big update from them at the moment. Their departments have submitted budgets, so they're kind of knee deep in their work at the moment. So
Okay.
I
Thank you.
just want to add, Laurie, for next meeting, please put a CR committee report on for me under reports from board liaisons.
Okay. And that's conservation restriction?
Yes, committee.
Okay.
And that's under general government?
I think it's
Or-
just kind of separate from everything. I mean, under general government in the sense that it's a board appointed by the select board. A committee appointed by the select board. It's nothing that's in the charter or anything like that.
Okay, I just added in there so we don't forget it. So I just put it, I already put it in the agenda for next.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. For update, do you have any announcements? Val?
yeah, I talked to the town clerk for the Office of Campaign and Political Finance, sorry, OCPF, and he wanted just to remind all elected officials to check in with the town clerk, because that's required to be filled out once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they said there would be, the form would be available. I think he was gonna link to it off the town clerk's website by the end of the week, but you can also stop in there or go to the website, print it out. Elected officials.
Okay, so that's usually, I mean, I remember getting an email.
Yep. I believe that was the intention, but it's just something
Oh, it
that we all
hasn't
should be aware
happened?
of.
Okay,
Is he going to send out the email? I know Kathy always did.
yeah.
Was there already one that came out?
I
I
he
wouldn't have
sent
gotten.
out a thing to read a document. I don't know. Might have been yesterday.
That was on municipal ballot questions.
Correct. Yeah.
This wasn't related to,
The finance reports, the
Yeah,
funding
but anyways.
reports.
regardless, everybody should know that they have to do that if you're an elected official once a year. Fill out the form, takes 2 seconds.
Okay. Also under announcements and communications, has everyone gotten the cyber training email from Guardian?
I did. I haven't signed up yet to take my training, but I did
That's the
get it.
same with me. I got it as well. I haven't signed up.
Oh, I did. It's very exciting. So, but I wondered if does everyone get it? Like everyone who
When we
or is it only people who are on Guardian who have
Everyone,
town emails?
yes, correct.
People on Guardian who have town emails. So
so
that
all employees,
all employees, would that be
Yep.
the same though for, I see the chief is on. Is that the same for police and fire or do they have their own? Are they under Guardian?
They're not
well?
under Guardian, so I don't think they actually received the training notifications. I could double check, but um, but they might not because they're not part of our email system.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
That's Jay. Okay. All right. Thank you for your input. So s- since I have and you haven't, I would like to have you activate your accounts and we can talk about it next week. I'll have it on next week's agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my announcement. Um, volunteer response forms, well, you all out there know that we could use your expertise and your participation on our vacant committees that we have. Okay, and you did the Office of Campaign. Who is announcing about the Comcast price changes? Nelson?
Let me see. I thought I saw it in here, but now I can't find it. Does anyone know where I thought I had seen it in the
It was
SharePoint,
there. I saw that.
and now
I don't have it printed, but
we received correspondence from Comcast, and I think this is their annual update. They have updated their pricing structure for all of their packages. I think most of everything has gone up in price. We can try to put it on the website, but whoever does have Comcast would also get notification at their household. So I'll see if we can put it on the website, but I
okay.
think
it
I think for us it's just a general announcement
it
that
can I say something, Nelson? I have the letter up. It says customers will begin to receive notice of these price changes within their bill statements starting November 20th, 2025. So
Oh,
people should look in their bill statements for the price increases.
but they would have gotten that already.
Yeah.
Um, okay. And I don't see on this agenda, so please put it on the next agenda. What's going on with our Comcast contract
yep.
that expired October 31st?
Oh, yeah, October, correct. Yep. It's slow going. Last I heard, we reached out. I thought at the last meeting I mentioned that we reached out to Comcast with kind of our final proposal for, how much we would get per subscriber. So Bill Solomon is working with our Comcast rep to finalize that. And I told them, you guys only meet one more time this month. So, they're trying to get it so that it's ready, at least tentatively, for the select board to review and hopefully, sign on a session at the next meeting. If
Okay,
not, we might have to call a cycle meeting just to deal with that issue. I'll try to get an update and hopefully, the contract in front of you guys for review and approval for the December 8th meeting.
Yeah, could you make sure that that's under old business
Okay,
next week? And
yep,
in relation to that, the TCAM contract.
yep.
And as far as TCAM goes, shouldn't usually in the fall they would come in and do an overview of all their finances, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe we should schedule that, even though we are doing a new agreement with TCAM. It would be good to know how the past year fell out and what their status is. It's in our
I'll talk.
agreement now that they present to the Board of Selectmen in the fall.
Okay, I'll talk to Dave to see if they might be ready for next Monday. If
I'm
not,
okay with, do that January 6th.
I'm okay with January 6th too.
Yeah.
That'll give them time.
okay,
Comcast has to come first anyway,
right,
so maybe he'll have a better idea and it'll be end of year already, in January.
okay, understood.
Next meeting is Monday, the 8th at 3 p.m. because we have a joint meeting with Board of Health at 6 p.m. And 6.5, review and sign. Val, is there a
Hi,
motion?
Valerie Goodrich. Move to sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin and I. 7.4.
7.1.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, through
Oh,
7.4,
actually,
sorry.
I'm
All
doing
above.
all of them. 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. I, Laura Schifrin, move to enter into executive sessions at 6:37 p.m. and adjourn from executive sessions pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, fire chief. Pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open session may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Fire union. Pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, namely RFS Corp. Versus Town of Townsend. Middlesex Superior Court docket number 2581 CV 02381, where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the board, and the chair so declares. I, Laura Schifrin, Chair of the Select Board, so declare. 2 or 3 times now. Pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation of negotiations with non-union personnel and contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Town Administrator. Do I have a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your attendance.
Did you say, and we will adjourn from?
I did.
Okay,
It
thank
was
you.
my first statement.